Alrighty, so let's look in terms of the weekly market update here within the week. So notice in terms of the S&P 500 created a lower high, new lower low. Would have been nice actually if the closing price went around 44.70 at something, probably even 44.60. I know it's not over yet. Anything can happen between now and closing. However, looking at 1 hourly, it is rebounding here for a second. So unless in the next 2 hours, it will create some form of stability. And then if they choose to drop it by the end of the trading day, that's the only time it would happen. However, from a stability or from the current candle itself, yes, it is bearish. At the end of the day, it is still basically in an uptrend. Uh, 4 hours, I'm sorry, on the daily time frame. Notice in terms of the doji here, I won't be surprised if by Monday this is going to form a bullish candle that will form a morning star, and from a higher low. Notice we have a lower high, higher low from here. You have a new lower high through there, and from that last low through there. So low, high, lower high, lower low, however, still higher low. And potentially this would go all the way to 45.30, 45.40 to retest this. But if they don't want to do that, then I want you just to imagine that this is what it's going to be looking. Annotation tool. It is going to go like this, and then to retest, and if so, then it will head back within here, lower high, and then somewhere around here. Then if that occurs, that's one of the possibilities. Then on the weekly, you will see creating a high somewhere here, and then it will drop even further as a form of a correction all the way 60 and here 44.50, 44.28 based on the weekly time frame. But we want to see the weekly time frame is to drop and then go back up, create a lower high, and then bam. That's the only time it's going to happen. Other than that, still very bullish in my opinion. There's nothing dictating that this is going to drop to a downtrend. We need that lower high in order for it to happen. But of course, short-term time frame correction. So I'm bearish as a short term. Medium to long term still bullish until the change or the tide will change from there. Well, what's really interesting on the other hand, based on the VIX, which is really nice. So create a higher low, odds and probability to either create a new higher high or another lower high is more than likely. That's why from a weekly perspective from the VIX, it is bullish, and hence there's more for this to head back down. I'm waiting for the price to come back up. In actual fact, I went back to long at 44.85 right here. So there is there 44.85, and I'm heavily trading the dollar CAD. I hedged the position there with gold at this point. I'm just playing the game up and down and up and down. All right. So, by the way, the S&P tested at 44.85, but currently, depending on what we'll finish in 8 minutes, here there's a morning star. This is then we head back up around the 45 somewhere here, and then it will drop. Okay, so that just basically waiting for that one. Then yeah, with the volatility index from a bigger time frame perspective, notice as well there is a gap. Fill that gap basically with that. I know they have to fill this gap. I don't know whether they will, but somewhere sometime they will. Higher high, higher low, higher high. Dollar index, same. I'm bullish with the dollar index because on the weekly, shows a really good sign from a higher low. So there's no lower high forming. Lower high will only occur if it goes to around 93.50, but if it doesn't want to play the game from a lower high, to create back down to fill in this gap here to 92 somewhere sometime. But if it's going to play the game, then it will create a new higher high just to fulfill basically the weekly or the monthly from stability, or a lot of bullish stability continuation. So we'll see when that happens for the monthly time frame, but daily time frame, I'm bullish. Oil is running out of steam at this point in time. So I'm actually bearish with oil, which makes sense because I'm bullish with the dollar index, I'm bullish with the VIX. Same thing with crude oil, lower high. I am bearish with it unless this will break out next week to head and create new higher highs. Those are mainly the two conditions. So we'll see when that happens. Daily time frame, notice there within that, but you also have that higher low. So short term, bullish, medium term, I'm bearish with it. Longer term, it could still be a possibility of a bull, but you have that evening star right there. In my opinion, they will fill in this gap back there on 62. So there's also that possibility through there. Gold, I'm bearish still with gold. Notice it's from a stability perspective with this evening star on the daily time frame. I believe this has more room or this to head back down because overall it's still basically a downtrend, whether I like it or not. Notice through there, really, really nice. And hence, that's why I hedged the position. If we'll come back up a little bit, it'll be nice, but they need to fill in this lower shadow from this very bearish move. Okay, so I'm bearish with the dollar index at gold at this point in time. All right, but because also this hammer that formed through there, they will fill that up and then head to the upside if it chooses to do that. Because from a correctional standpoint, still an uptrend, in my own opinion, longer term. All right, so that's with gold. Copper, very bullish, and that's why Aussie actually did back up or went back up to the upside. Weekly time frame, in my opinion, they will retest from here, but there is also the possibility from this that this is going to fail pretty soon. So medium term, I'm bearish with it. Daily time frame, short term, I believe it's finished yesterday. From what I looked into it, that possibility for it to head back is more than likely, going around $44.50, $4.56, somewhere there, and then this is going to tank. TYX, it was very bullish. There was that gap from there. I'm bullish with the yield. Weekly time frame on that hand doesn't look good from a correctional standpoint. This could fail. It could go to the upside, but just looking at what the chart is, this could drop back down to 180 all the way to 160 probably. So we'll see what that happens on the other hand, but short term I'm bullish, medium term bearish. And let's go through the majors. I'll go through first with the dollar CAD because it's in terms of that position. So I'm bullish actually with the dollar CAD. That's why I added to the positions once again from a correctional standpoint. Number two, because of the M3 methodology from a buy. The expectation that it's going to drop to correct itself was highly probable, which it did. But anywhere that I would buy anyway, it doesn't matter where you buy, in my opinion, they will head back to the upside. Why? Because the weekly is also very strong, very powerful. A lot of volume in terms of the upper shadow, the upper weekly right there. They have to feel that. They need to retest back to 129. It's just a matter of time to do that. So after 2 weeks being bearish, finally did come back, and there's next week will be another run, in my opinion. So there's I'm bullish with it. Another 200, that's something pips, 200 to 300 pips actually, 26, 27, 28, 29, 300 pips to the upside. The dollar CAD's been very volatile lately. So yeah, that's with the dollar CAD, holding positions, actually adding more to positions, closed positions a few days ago, and then started going long once again. All right, let me go back to the Aussie. So it was bullish and now back to the 8 to the 10. I'm bearish with this because of that evening star correction, continuation to the downside. Weekly time frame, on the other hand, it's showing to buy from an F3 methodology. However, there is that lower low, but also that higher low. So preferably if the price will come back down here and up, so better price point. But from a weekly perspective, it is saying a buy. So yeah, to also be aware with this, even though it's saying a sell, better price though from a short term, sell, buy back here and somewhere between here. Euro against the US dollar, it plays a very big difference. On a weekly perspective, it's also saying a buy. There's a buy signal from there. So yeah, there could also be an opportunity. However, there's also that lower high through there. Better if the price will come back to 117.40, somewhere around here. So between this range, 1760, 1730, 40, even down here, because weekly actually did create a new higher high here, 1909.0, 1908.7. So I cannot ignore that as well. But because of this and the dollar, I'm still bullish with the dollar index. This has more opportunity to head back down. So short term, I'm bearish. Medium term, I'm bullish with it. Okay, so just be careful with that one too. Pound has its own mind creating. They didn't want to pursue through there. So from a shorter term perspective, boom, there's actually an entry to short based on 4-hour time frame through there. It's really nice. To head back around 137.90. Weekly, on the other hand, also having a signs of buying. So preferably if this will come back down to get a better price for medium term, bullish. So I'm bullish with the majors, with the medium time frame. Short term time frame, I'm bearish with it actually. Kiwi against the US dollar, you have an entry to go long through there, but preferably the price will head back around 70.16. So same. Daily time frame, there's that room. It's creating, in my opinion, they either create a new higher high, but if that lower high will form, then I'll be bearish. So short term with the majors, I'm bearish. Short term with the dollar CAD, I'm bullish. And then also have to be aware with this one, it didn't want to go below data 10, so which is good, unless there's a change of direction at the end of the day. If a change of direction at the end of the day, then gonna bail out. However, it's still very strong at this point. So my medium term, I'm bullish with short term as well, bullish with the dollar CAD. Dollar Swiss the same. I'm bullish as well with the dollar Swiss. Weekly time frame from a sell position heading now to a bullish position through there. Why? Because it's also very bullish through on that side. Dollar yen. I'm bearish with the dollar yen medium term. Notice it didn't want to play anymore. A lot of stability. This is gonna have one more drop through here. So medium term, I'm not bullish. Medium term, I am bearish. That evening star already formed. If this will head back up just a little bit, 110, somewhere there, then great. But there's also after the buy, sell, there was a sell through there, 2 in a row already. So below the 8 and 10. So I'm going to do a test trade here at the end of the day to see. And then, but if it'll come back around here, then add in more to the positions. But dollar yen has some of that opportunity to go to the downside. So medium, I'm bearish. Short term, slightly more of the bullish side, and then it reaches around that 110.20, then sell again. Might as well go through the majors against the yen here quickly. Bullish with the Aussie yen. It finishes like this. Daily time frame. Yep, very nice. Okay, euro saying to sell from a lower high. Better though if your price go back to around 130.10, about 20-30 pips. It will come back some here. I'm not a lower high. That would be great. So holding on that one. Daily time frame saying bullish, but notice now touch through that trend line. Didn't want to pursue to go beyond. I'm bearish actually with the pound against the yen, preferably if you head back, but it creates a lower high. This is going to fail. Say 1 2 1 2 3. Notice it's running out of steam through that. Swiss yen, I'm bearish. Back to the sell position. They didn't want to go through there, but price is at demand, so you also got to be careful with that. And then you have a nice M2 formation at the end of the day. So short term, I'm bullish to catch that move, and then bears. CAD yen, still based on the sell side, holding off. I'm still bearish with the CAD yen. Last but not least, Kiwi, very strong. Closing price 026, that didn't qualify, currently qualified. Preferably though, if the price back to 7717, but 100 pips. It creates a lower high, buying back somewhere around here. All right, so that's based on the weekly market update. They're in preparation for next week. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email us at esdtraders@gmail.com if you have any questions. Also, I'll put it on the channel through there too.